Once I found out that there's an interpretation that lines up with flat Earth, that's what it is. It's an interpretation that lines up with flat Earth.
I already see you as a future former flat earther, if that makes any kind of sense. I'm predicting, like my prediction, what I told you before. You're in my head, you're already a future former flat earther, right?
When the book of the law is studied, it can be seen to be a set of ciphers and riddles meant to conceal the lost words of the Temple of Solomon, which Crowley claimed to have discovered while researching the Zohar and Freemasonry. So in my mind, anyone who dismisses reading any of his work is not really looking for the truth.
So you just heard there from Jared himself those very blasphemous statements about Jesus Christ, but he praises Crowley.
Hi, my dear friends. Hope you guys are doing fine today. Good morning from Japan. Good evening in the US. Good afternoon somewhere else. Welcome to the show. Thanks for being here. It's a pleasure. I had to play this intro because we're going to be talking about an atheist today who really went crazy during a podcast this week. So I had to bring this to you guys today. So good evening, everyone. Whoever is joining us right now. Yeah, kind of. We gotta laugh at these people because plants, shields, and they just expose themselves, which is great for Flat Earth. I think we can see clearly the kind of people they are. So it's best that they go ahead and all of them expose themselves. The sooner the better. So welcome everyone to the show. Crystal is in the house. Hello, Crystal. Adam Horst, I will be watching your debate. Recall, I woke up this morning. I did see it on Modern Day Debate. So since it's over 2 hours long, I'll be watching, maybe a little bit today, a little bit later. So for those of you who don't know, Carl is a pilot for Emirates. And about a year ago, Carl he contacted me about Flat Earth, blah, 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 He sent me a long list of questions, which I replied to him, but I replied as a video. And just because I had his name, Carl Becker, he actually complained to YouTube, and I was forced to take down the video because he complained about identity, like exposing his identity. And now the guy is debating for the Globe, showing his face, his name. You see, those Globers, they have no foundation. They don't know what they make no sense. Right? The same guy who asked YouTube to take down my video is now debating, showing his face. So I'll be watching that later on tonight. So Michigan's in the house. So many good people. And thank you so much for being here. Tennessee, I think I better put on my reading glasses here. So all of you who are joining here now, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much. Okay, let's get going because I do have quite a long video for today, but I wanna go ahead and do the whole video today, talk about this. Hello, Victoria from Sweden. Welcome to the show. Thanks for being here. right? Sweden is like 2 a.m. right now, 3 a.m. So thanks for being here. So let's go ahead and get started. First of all, I want to share this. So I'll be talking basically about this today. This Glober, he went to a podcast in Brazil. It was supposed to be just a friendly conversation. And he had a complete meltdown. We're going to be talking about. So let me explain this first. So I got an email from a shout out to you, my friend, from someone about the letter J. So when Rob Skiba first started talking about this in 2015, 16, I don't know. And then I started arguing things. So what's our talk all about that letter J was created in the 1500s? Because I speak Latin language, Portuguese, which is similar to French. And we have the letter J, and we have had the letter J for as long as the history of Portugal, which is, as a nation, was established in the 1200s. So right here we have the King Don João. You see the letter J right there. Okay, so you can go back, you can find Portuguese documents, and then about like 5 years ago, I did a video on old Portuguese maps, and you can find the letter J there. So you see here documents from the 1200s. You see the letter J. You see here 1275, the letter J. The age in Portuguese is mute, silent. So this name is here, Joan, Joan, not Johan, but Joan, Joanne. Okay, so you see there the letter J. You see maps, 1200 maps of Portugal, Johannes. You see there the city of Jerusalem, J, 1200, a map there, Portuguese map. You see the big J there. So the letter J has existed, for as long as Portugal has been a country. Why? Because that's when they started to document, keep records. But of course they used before, but there was no like official records. Portugal was not a kingdom yet. So the letter J in Portuguese sounds like the J in French. Like, for example, here, Portuguese, João, José, Jardim, sounds like the J, like Jean, Jacques, Jude in French. If you're a Canadian, you speak both English and French, you know what I'm talking about. English has a John, James, July. So the J in Portuguese is pronounced like measure, vision, treasure, pleasure, usual, beige. So that's how it sounds. And we have had the J ever since. Now, you can say, oh, but the letter J was created, but the sound was there. For example, Japanese, we have this sound, J. There are two ways of describing this sound, J. G, in hiragana, which is the oldest Japanese language, and G in katakana, which is also a Japanese language used to describe foreign languages, foreign objects. Both is G here. So even the Japanese sound that dates back like 2,000 years ago, 1,500 years ago, they describe the J with the opposite side with these two dots right here. Okay, and so this sound J has always existed. The way you describe it, especially in Europe, as I explained before, the vowel we would say J. If it was a consonant, it would be I. You know, like you don't say King James, you say King James. All right, there always been the name James in England, so they pronounce James. It was never James. Okay, so the sound has always existed, and especially in Portuguese, you see their documents in 1200. The letter J, the sound J, was always present. Okay, I just wanted to clarify that before we actually get started. And so why did I play the introduction showing Josh, the atheist, and the shield? Well, the Bible is a flat earth book. We know that. This is the illustration of the Hebrew cosmology in the Bible. And here we see Josh almost apologizing to the Glober. Now, the Glober that I will be highlighting today is pretty much like this atheist here, woke, left wing, and, more like the rainbow side of, interpretation of how life is, if you know what I mean. And so this is the Glober. His name is Yuri. So he was invited to a podcast in Brazil, and it wasn't supposed to be a debate. It was just like the guest. This is the host, okay? Very neutral, and he brings two guys of opposite views, like to try to convince him which one is correct. He normally doesn't get involved, but this podcast was really weird, and I will show you. And this is the flat earther. His name is Alexander. He goes by the nickname Xander, not Alex, the first half of his name, but the second, Xander. So because he is a bodybuilder, they call him Zandão or Xandão, okay? Super Xandão because he's a bodybuilder. He's very liked in Brazil. He's got 1.48 million subscribers, and he does reacts, okay? Reacts, and people like him. He's a flat earther. People really, really like him. And we're going to get started on this um, podcast. I'm going to upload the video. Now, just to go over some comments here. Hello, Tammy, you're in the house. Thanks for being here. Thanks, everyone. Adam Pack's in the house, too. Thank you. We're going to get started on the show. So I did upload a video this week, and I think you should watch it. All right, you definitely. I think you must watch it. Invite somebody. Invite like a professor, a math professor, your science professor, or send him the link. So why should you watch this video? And I'll explain to you. So let me share my screen again. So this is the video right here. It's called "The Horizon Does Not Curve." The original is in Spanish, but the video is really well done. That I just had to add a translation to it and upload it to my channel. I thought I sent a message to the guy. I said I'm gonna do it because the video is really good. So of course I can't. The video is like 45 minutes long, and I used the YouTube tool to dub the video into English, and then I recorded the screen, and then I added the audio onto the video. And I understand that sometimes the voice is kind of mechanic, but the content of this video is really great. It's definitely great. You must watch this video. Okay, I uploaded. I think it was like yesterday. So you can add a comment there, please. So with this 33 comment will be raised. Well, 900 views so far. It's really great. So I went through the comments. Because the video uses AI to illustrate parts of what they want to say, one person said, "Well, you should not use AI," but I disagree, and I will tell you why. Japan in the 1800s only had like swords to fight, and maybe an arrow and a bow, an arrow. And what happened? Commodore Perry, American Navy admiral, came through Tokyo Bay, but before entering Tokyo Bay, he had a big ship with big guns. He bombed two cities, all right? So the world, the Globers, they use all this stuff. They use AI, they use, and if you think that's fallen angel technology, AI is fallen angel technology, remember that if you have a car, you are using fallen angel technology. because according, I think it was Azazel, according to the book of Enoch, he's behind the metallurgy. He taught men how to, beat the metals, like foundry, beat the metals, transform them into tools and weapons and stuff like that. So if you have a pickup truck, the chassis is made of metal, was beaten out, transforming into what it is. Everything you have at home, if you have a car, even the technology in the car, the transistors, the electrical part, it's all fallen angel technology. So the Globers are using AI. They are making videos. I'm going to play one today for you to see. And why should we fall behind on that? If you are knowledgeable of AI, you can create great short videos, as I'm going to show one today, explaining the flat Earth, and they can go viral. I've seen some on TikTok, and we can use them on YouTube as well. So I don't oppose, because, like, let's say the Gutenberg, the German, he invented the printing machine. Well, the Protestant Reformation benefited greatly. Imagine if they were going to write down the translation of the Bibles and copy around. No, they took advantage of the printing press, and immediately they spread the Reformation. So we have to use that stuff as well. It's there, it's already there. Hiding behind is not going to help us, because the Globers are using this stuff. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started here. I will talk about earthquakes today. I'll see if I don't forget. All right, so guys, I'm going to get started covering. So I did use YouTube dubbing to dub this. So I'm going to try. The translation is always faulty, it's not 100% perfect. So I'm going to try to show you, explain the points, all right? So let's get started. Let me add this video here. And we will get started right away.
New video starting, and before you go, leave your like here and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any videos. That's it. See you later.
Yeah, we're together here. Keep the energy going, guys. Let's go. And Yuri?
Greetings, my friends. Yes, very welcome. Back right? It's a pleasure to be here. Also, a shout out to the community, to the Agora people, to Zandon's people. I didn't know who you were. Me neither. Nice to meet you again. We're in this together. I did my basic homework, including the guys. We've been joking around here in the chat, which is a very energetic bunch. Oh, my God. Energetic. And I love it. Whenever I finish a podcast like this, I like to see the live chat. I want to see these people degenerate afterwards. So feel free to chat. It'll be very funny.
Guys, will it be easy? Will it be easy for Black Felipe?
A demon hunter. All this stuff I'm talking about, right? I'm being serious here. I'm talking normally with you guys, but everything's Super Shandon.
Okay, let me just pause there for a minute. There's the Glober, not the guy in black jacket, the guy with the burgundy jacket. Before the show, and that's actually after the show they were talking about. They were saying he was very friendly. He approached it. He was very friendly. But once they start talking about flat Earth, everything changed. So let's go ahead and go on.
Says in the live streams behind the demon hunter persona is precisely to try to combat this evil that the flora that torments the kids.
It's evil. I say it's everything that encourages the kids down the wrong path. It's the demons that bring this bad energy, right? And that's what keeps leading the spirit of that group down the wrong path. You understand? That's why the Demon Hunter event 2 comes along.
Oh, no, wait a minute. You're really called a demon hunter?
You didn't know. You didn't know. My God! I'm trapped. Better off on Earth. Demon Hunter. Man, it's right there in my character's bibliography. Dude. Demon Hunter of the End Times. There you go.
I think you knew. It's because I was in a debate with a demon hunter 3 weeks ago. Little.
But I'm literally a hunter, the kind of guy who
hunts down demons for a living, man.
Wow. And he was also, curiously, a flat earther. So I was joking, thinking, man, I was going to make an analogy between you and Castor them all. What's her name? Caroline, no.
Brazilian Constantine? Brazilian Constantine. Yeah, people joke around. Well, in my case, I've never physically found one like that, you know? You know. But if I do find one, I'll kick its ass. Excuse my language. So then the guy curiously was also a flat earther. And that's why I decided to pick a fight, because I even saw why this flat earth discussion isn't going anywhere. I saw a discussion you had with Sergio Sacani. Sergio Sacani is a brilliant guy, much sharper than me when it comes to talking about the subject. And so with all due respect, Sacani completely destroyed you in that discussion. He did. But why do you think he did? What did he say? Did you find what?
Okay, so Sergio Sacani is a Glober in Brazil, and actually he did not want to debate Alexander, the super sundown here, the flat earther. And his defense for the globe earth, it's stupid, like ships going, disappearing at the beach. And he's a pathetic guy, but of course the Glober will praise him.
He said, oh, have you ever talked to an astronaut? He talked about the idea of curvature, the calculation of the laser, right? Right? And wow, he speaks with such elegance. I'm not a big fan of Sacani because he doesn't like aliens. Or does he like aliens now? I'm not sure. He doesn't believe in aliens. Yeah, that's a bit of a grudge against him. But he spoke so beautifully that I can't top the scoundrel in that speech, right? Not, but it's something you can have. It's normal to have sympathy for the scoundrel. I do too. But everything I talk about regarding...
Yes, Luke, sorry. I had to translate it into English because this debate was in Brazil. It wasn't actually a debate, but what I want to show you is like how this Glober, he completely goes nuts. Like he loses it, So I'm not going to be playing perhaps the whole thing, but I want to show the part where he completely loses it.
In the flat earth, everything I talked about in the case of Satan, you ultimately come back to the Bible. It breaks down in science. You pull it back to Genesis, right? No, so there's another chapter you pull from anyway. No. Yes, it has to do with people. It has to do with the Bible. All of that has to do with the belief in the Bible that there is a creator God, an intelligent mind behind creation. But the flat earth is proven empirically through scientific experiments. And that's what I was discussing with Sergio. I think that most people don't seek information on this subject. That's the truth. The majority of people do not even know how the heliocentric model of the universe really works. Wait a minute. It's the dome on Earth that you're defending, which is a hologram or a grand conspiracy of world governments, 1 million scientists who simultaneously have space stations, cameras, take a drone, put a GoPro on a weather balloon, you see the curvature. But there's an explanation for the GoPro, you see? That's what I was going to get to. No, it's not because of the dome. It's because the GoPro is a camera that distorts the... Oh, damn, you put a normal camera there too, you'll see. You won't. You put a camera on a weather balloon, you go and put it linear, man. See, there's video. You said, look, Serjan destroyed you. Perfectly understandable. Okay, that's your point of view. But it's clear that not only you, but a majority of people don't bother to learn about the model before giving their opinion. So you lack information. The model's very good, man. Furthermore, regarding gravitation, I know that you disbelieve in gravity as well, and I have done a great deal of homework on that subject. Disbelieving in gravity. I could go into the science behind it, but let's say gravity exists and I'm here. If you have any doubts, I'm here. Just like with a GoPro, if you have any questions, I am here to answer them. Yeah. An ice wall around the world. That's what the model says. I haven't been there, I haven't checked that. There's no way to say for sure. But do you believe there's an ice wall? I believe so. What's outside?
I believe that Antarctica is not what it is, not a small continent as it is currently presented. I don't think that's it.
Outside the ice wall? I don't know either. I don't know. There are other continents because there are expanded maps, right? There's a small world map like this with the ice wall, and then there's another one, the Atlantic, and all that.
What? No, the model that I think is the most coherent is the biblical cosmological model, which is even drawn in some Bibles. It's an Earth, around flat Earth, enclosed by a dome, and its circumference would be Antarctica. That's it. Antarctica is like a 360-degree turn. I don't know. I really can't say anything about Antarctica because there's a treaty. There's a treaty. I couldn't even go there to explore Antarctica, to send technology there to study the area. Even if I were a billionaire, that's a high-level military area. More than 40 countries have military bases installed there. What a character, man.
I can't believe that. It's Super Chando.
No, just Google it, man.
Just Google it and search. Seriously.
You lost the character. It's not serious. The audience itself should say, hey, no, he's just a meme of yours, man. Because But come here. Leave it alone. It's that you're not used to fanaticism.
No, that's
crazy. B, you're acting like a...
All right, you see the Glober, he thinks that Super Sundown is not really making sense because he doesn't know that there is an Antarctic treaty. I'm talking about the Glober. The Glober doesn't know that there is an Antarctic treaty, that we cannot freely, independently explore Antarctica. There are only certain areas where you can go. You cannot leave that area at all, never. And the Glober demonstrates how ignorant he is on the subject. He said to send a balloon, higher altitude balloon, with a GoPro camera attached to it. And we know the GoPro camera distorts the horizon. It becomes curved.
Psychopath, you should do it the other way around. Imagine you're in that era. Let's do it the other way around. Imagine you're in a time when everyone says the earth is flat. And someone says the earth is round.
They burned a person who said the earth is round.
And we had years of science to prove the opposite. You're going back to the Enlightenment again. Calm down, let me finish talking and you'll understand what I mean here. I'll make an analogy. So you have a consensus. The whole society had a consensus. Was it right or wrong?
Society, in reality, if you take ancient Greece, they already had the idea that the earth was, it was from the Middle Ages. It was from the Middle Ages.
Calm down.
Was a bunch of crazy people because of the Catholic Church, including those who are.
Going back to the old model. It's because you went back immediately. Look, the whole society thought the earth was flat. And occasionally someone would appear to say, no, it's round. When that person spoke, society would massacre that person.
Therefore, he is the person massacred by society because he is disagreeing with something that is common consensus. Not only common consensus, but scientifically proven.
Scientifically proven. Calm down. I like this kind of conversation. I'll leave it open. Scientific.
So I'm just going to pause for a minute here. So this is the host. He's trying just to wait because the Glober will not stop, talking, and he's all over. And he just said, he's explaining, telling the Glober, he was not taking the side of the flat earther. He was trying to be neutral and say, calm down. Wait, the guy is making his point,
Down the wrong path. It's the demons that bring this bad energy, right? And that's what keeps leading the spirit of that group down the wrong path. You understand?
But it's clear that not only you, but a majority of people. And we had years of science to prove the opposite. You're going back to the Enlightenment again. Calm down, let me finish talking and you'll understand what I mean here. I'll make an analogy. So you have a consensus. The whole society had a consensus. Was it right or wrong?
Society, in reality, if you take ancient Greece, they already had the idea that the earth was, it was from the Middle Ages. It was from the Middle Ages.
Calm down.
Was a bunch of crazy people because of the Catholic Church, including those who are.
Going back to the old model. It's because you went back immediately. Look, the whole society thought the earth was flat. And occasionally someone would appear to say, no, it's round. When that person spoke, society would massacre that person.
Therefore, he is the person massacred by society because he is disagreeing with something that is common consensus. Not only common consensus, but scientifically proven.
Scientifically proven. Calm down. I like this kind of conversation. I'll leave it open. Scientifically proven is often relative. For example, they had an effect on the pandemic. I know they did.
Yeah.
So I'm going to make a bet with you. I see my program with Dr. Francisco Cardoso from the CFM Council. No, it's all a lie.
My God.
I can say that like this. Look, is that what you're doing? No. Pay attention. What you just did. Mockery, because, no, it's not about mockery. But I'll tell you, it's not about mockery. No, it's not about that. You're stuck in a thought and not open to the possibility of being wrong.
But of course, because it's an absurd statement, man.
So I invite you, I'll repeat.
So watch the conversation with the doctor.
Look, no, it's not just about watching the conversation. He proves it with scientific articles one by one, and he disproves it one by one.
Oh, no. It's not possible that we're discussing denialism.
I am,
people. I am discussing with a flat earther denialist. What am I saying here?
The vaccine, listen, I'm responding. I'm just saying that what you're doing prevents transmission. It prevents you from getting it, but it reduces mortality.
The name for that? The point is that when you end the speech or the dialogue, the scene is over. You're imposing something. I gave the example of the flat earth. I gave the example of the flat earth to get back
To the point. When Zandao says the earth is flat, is that social and scientific consensus today? No, that's wrong. That's retrograde thinking the earth is flat. But there's a detail. When science isn't open to dialogue,
But science is dialogue. It's peer review. It's become sarcasm.
No. Sarcasm is my opinion, because it's cool that I say it. It's sarcasm. It's that it became that.
But do you know the academic environment? The scientific academic environment, you produce articles, scientific production of master's theses, doctorates. You take the article of a guy you interviewed here and you get 500 scientists to look at every little point of that guy's article and say, hey, this is wrong, this. And that has peer review. If you look at the CNPq, Brazilian National Council for Scientific and Technological Development, see 500,000 different articles refuting the subject. That's how science works, isn't it?
I, the pharmacist, have always done this well. That's the point. Are you realizing that you end up contradicting yourself? You don't realize it, dude.
How did I contradict myself?
It's because you just said, oh, because a doctor or a scientist went there and did a
Study that he interviewed here,
study.
saying that it doesn't work.
You invalidating a person?
No, I didn't invalidate. He did the study. The study is valid. He has the results he obtained from gathering information.
But you spoke in an ironic way, saying, oh, no, you spoke ironically, saying, oh, so what if a guy did this, meaning the following, he's a know-it-all.
And it's important that he did this because science is probably wrong. That's scientific methodology.
And why does peer review mean more than one?
Why is peer?
Review about quantity or quality? Is it about truth or lies? Do you understand?
Look closer. What I'm telling you about this, it's not a review.
No, what I'm telling you is this. It's because at the same time that you try to validate a scientific or supposedly scientific idea because it was peer reviewed, you also think it's right. To invalidate the idea of a scientist, even if it's just one who may be right, but
He may have committed fraud. He may have manipulated the research results.
The review by everyone, all the scientists.
And the evidence he presented here, the very evidence here regarding the vaccine issue that's being discussed, proves this. That's why I'm saying that this ends up being a contradiction, you understand? What I'm saying to you is this. I understand your thinking. You're saying there's an academic process.
But do you understand how absurd, how astonished I am by this discussion? Because this is already judged, it's already in the past.
are eggs good or bad for you?
It depends on that time of year, as there's a million things until nutrition. No, not at all. I'm showing you something ridiculous.
All right, so let me explain what's going on there. So he basically, the host, which is the person he should not be arguing with, he's just listening to both sides. He started arguing with the host because all the host was asking is that he could hear the argument, which he refused to hear. And this is not a debate. This is like for them to get together, to get to know each other, and potentially have a debate in the future. But immediately he started calling the flat earther names. And as you saw, part of it was just the host and the glober. The flat earther was just quiet there listening because the host was trying to make the glober understand that he needs to be open. If he is a scientist, he must be open to be challenged, not to preserve it as a religion. So he quoted the example of the jabs, because he brought a guy there in Brazil, a doctor who's highly known in the field, who went against the jab, and he showed the studies and everything that the jab was actually bad, unaliving people in great numbers. And again, the Glober started calling the host a negationist, a naysayer, not listening again that there are people studying. You cannot just accept what, are being imposed upon you. And the Glober seems like, since he's a leftist, leftist communists, they believe the communism, the government, must be the mind of the whole people. So I think he has this mentality. So let's listen to a couple more minutes, right?
How does science change? No, not ridiculous, because even today, there are people who discuss this, but even today it changes. Man, that's testosterone. That's right. Things change. The problem is this. When we end the dialogue, my point is that Zendo, I'm not making value judgments. He brings
Solid arguments. He only questions, but I find it interesting that few people open up to try to listen and refute what he brings. Yes, so much so that arguments, I'm not talking about arguments, I have them. So, but until now, you haven't known it's not 500 years of history. Forget it. You're too attached to that. You're too attached to that. Oh, because it's peer review, it's 500 years of history. Wait a minute, let's focus on reality. It's reality. Look, I'll give you a clear example. Deal with reality. Want to talk about flat Earth? There are channels that talk about it, and we've already done live streams with medical students, engineers, mathematicians, physicists discussing the subject. So there's really a lot of background to be researched and discussed about it. It's not something we talk about. I talk about it. Me and the people who study it, who want to understand it, it's not something you talk about without any information. You're influencing, I don't know, maybe 150,000, 500,000 followers on Instagram, on YouTube, something like that. 1 million kids with an anti-scientific idea. I think about this case, I think the opposite. No, I think about professional accountability. You're a fool disguised as a communicator. Explain why? Because you're not creating critical thinking. Just imagine there are 1 million kids watching, probably tearing it apart in the chat. Must be very funny. I really want to see what happens later. But it's encouraging anti-scientific thinking, because that's already been proven very well.
critical thinking, not anti-scientific thinking.
This is based on the Bible, man. When they said the earth was flat and killed the guys, ooh.
And the debate was over. No, the debate is over.
What he does is this, guys. I believe the earth is flat. A bunch of people take off their skirts and say, no, it's round. He does this, research it. He arrives at his conclusion because his character, man, he doesn't believe that. It's a character. You can't believe it, isn't? Look, I'll tell you so you understand, okay? Is there a problem with calling him a court jester? I understand that the image of Super Shen sometimes leads people to see it that way. And Flat Earth has nothing to do with the character. I already explained that. If you want to understand the Flat Earth model, because I defend this idea, and not only me, other people defend it, serious people study it, and if you want to learn, it's a matter of your will. I'm a guy who never definitively said that people should believe in a flat Earth. I say it because that's the conclusion I came to through my analysis of the subject. You, being a free-thinking person, in theory, critical, rational, scientific thinking, right? Yeah. Oh, exactly. So you better than anyone can research the subject. Draw your own conclusion. No, you haven't researched it. I've already read a lot about it. No. Okay. So tell me how a curvature test works. A what? A curvature test? It's the horizon thing. The boat. You see the fact that the hull of the boat disappears before the curvature test Dude, that's wrong. You didn't see it. Because of the dome. How does the curvature test work? How is it done? Laser measurement. I don't know how to explain in detail.
I'm not a flat Earth expert. I can speak as a scientist here.
Scientist, what's your academic title to talk about this? Because I came in. That's the fallacy of authority. I don't like talking about authority.
But you just brought it up. I only ask because what's his background to ask? I want to know his background. Let me ask a question.
Background? What's on paper? Background? Background is what? Your level of study. Also, level of study, I'm asking you what a curvature test is. You can't tell me, but I know what a curvature test is because I studied it.
Like having a flat Earth plane. You're north. Oh, but are you realizing you're contradicting yourself? Not get into this discussion. That's the problem you mentioned. Your problem isn't an inability to understand, it's that you don't have the will. Prejudice, man! Yeah, well, no, you don't have one. Like,
someone light me a cigarette, please. Please give me a cigarette. You know what my white one is with Sakan? I think he's incredibly intelligent. He speaks well, he's a cool guy. He seems like a very, very cool guy. Although Rubum is human, but Ruban says he falls off the platform. It's a lie. Well, an arrow there, the set, damn it. But okay, you know where I got pissed off with him? The only time I heard him say that, I said, that's absurd. That guy just said he defended the Chinese model, that to talk about any subject, you have to have a diploma. Buffoon. No, that's completely discord. Damn, he defended that, my brother. No, that's discord. Absurd. The superior system is a pyramid scheme, but what you were saying there was going along those lines. You're talking about background? No, but I wanted to know about your education, your educational level.
I wanted to know if you have a scientific background, if you have knowledge of the scientific methodology, what the scientific method of review is, and how knowledge creation works.
What is science? First of all, science is observation, testing, empiricism,
Methodologically.
and then a formulation of a theory based on the evidence you collect. After all that, having a background of robust evidence, you can reach a conclusion that it becomes a scientific fact or not through various processes, observation, measurement, and you have to do and redo this in various ways and many times. Great. Flat Earth is precisely that. When you ask me what I know about the subject, it's exactly that. People buy the necessary scientific material to do tests and prove that there is no curvature. This is scientific proof, and it's exposed today for anyone to see.
They didn't take the main proponent of flat Earth theory to Antarctica and have him convert.
But that's on YouTube. You can even search for it. It's the main guy, the big boss there.
All right, so now the global who could not answer the question, could not explain how a curvature test is performed, and doesn't even know that much anything, It's just like screaming and shouting, and now he appeals to the 24-hour sun in Antarctica, which we know in Brazil there's no such thing, but because he believes the information that's being given to him, that Jaron Campanella was a real flat earther, and that this is a real scientific experiment, not an observation. And well, the bottom line is that at the very end, I think this is halfway. I'm not going to play much. He goes completely
Produced by the
nuts.
pharmaceutical industry, it will lower your temperature in 15 minutes in 50 minutes. Homeopathy has a different function. It's a different cascade. And
Okay, here this part is pretty good, and that's the last part that I'm going to play. Okay.
In the power of thought, and then we even get into esotericism, dialysis.
that's all.
Do the following when your daughter discusses homeopathy. Is it good as a supplementary treatment? I
Don't know.
Anything that benefits is good? You're not going to abandon the main treatment to talk about homeopathy.
You're talking nonsense.
Talking nonsense.
How are you?
Talking nonsense.
Because if the person is talking nonsense,
Homeopathy was discarded by the pharmaceutical industry precisely because it doesn't generate any profit.
religion also heals. Religion heals.
Not always. But it can also heal.
If I pray to God instead of undergoing my treatment, am I cured?
I would never tell you to do it, and I would be responsible on my part.
So why would I never tell you? Why would I tell you not to take homeopathy? You understand the logic?
No, you're the one who's reversing it. I'm saying this homeopathy works. You will find thousands of scientists on the internet, and the majority of them are ridiculing the practice of homeopathy. But homeopathy is a medicine that has been established for centuries. But at a certain point, it was ridiculed. Why? Because obviously, if you take a chemical antipyretic produced by the pharmaceutical industry, it will lower your temperature in 15 minutes in 50 minutes. Homeopathy has a different function. It's a different cascade and order of action in your body, which is obviously treated from an early age. You can't even take regular medicine while taking homeopathy. That's very interesting. Wait, I'll give you an example. Yes, I'll give you an example.
Okay, I think it's enough. So you see that the conversation that was supposed to take place between the Glober and the Flat Earther, and wasn't even supposed to be a debate. It was just a conversation to set grounds for a future debate. And then constantly he was arguing with the host, because all the host was asking is that he could listen to the argument that the Flat Earther had. But from the beginning, he started like throwing tantrums and calling the Flat Earther names, this being disrespectful, kind of a version of Fight the Flat Earth, Brazilian Flat Earth, the Fight Craig, whatever his name is, extremely disrespectful. And that backfired greatly because this podcast had hundreds of thousands of views and more. They had so many channels talking about making reacts and all the comments. And I went over to several reacts and to the main channel. all the comments were negative towards the Glober. Not because the guys were flat earthers. They were saying that I'm a Glober, but this Glober is unbearable. Nobody could tolerate him. Right? It backfired greatly because the guy's ego was, to the point where he released a video. Uh, I'll show you here. I'm not going to play because it's this one I did not translate. But he released a video and kind of doubling down his offenses on the flat earther, which, it wasn't even there to argue with him personally. Wasn't there to call him the Glober any names. He just was there to talk about the subject, which is flat earth. Okay, so he posted, the Glober uploaded this video here, and you see that he is holding his blue duck, and he tried to justify his actions because he was saying like, no, science, we don't have to debate the science anymore, it has been established. So why was he there? He was there for that, to listen to the arguments. But once he got there, he didn't want to listen. He was just offensive, extremely offensive, childish to say the least, intolerable. People could not. And after the show, people saying that even the cameraman, the people behind the scenes, the crew, the people who were there for the podcast filming, was like in a state of disbelief because this Glober was there uh, and did what he did. Okay, so he's very similar to this other Glober here, by who the Josh Monday was there almost apologizing. Okay, if you see this Glober that I just presented, the long hair, just like this other atheist here, that Josh Monday was almost apologizing to. So that's why I really like Super Shandong. He was really, his Bible, he's an alpha kind of flat earther, not just like beta flat earther like Josh, which in my opinion is not even a flat earther. Even everybody can see that he's already a future former flat earther, as the Glober posted. All right, so that's really what I want to show. Now I'm not even gonna go out the way. It gets even uglier. The Glober starts throwing tantrums there, and it's pretty crazy. And I had to use the AI or the dubbing to show you guys because and it was the only tool. What I like it is like in Brazil we have those kind of podcasts who actually bring real flat earthers to talk. Used to be like that in the US, and I was searching for videos. Back in 2016, we had radio stations like, let's say, WLAX or I don't know, Hot FM or whatever. They used to bring real flat earthers and interview them, like excellent interviews, like the one that Eric Dubé used to do with Mel Fabregas and the Veritas Radio and Coast to Coast Radio. There used to be great interviews back in 2016, even 2017. We don't have them because now what we have when they bring people are normally people who are not flat earthers to talk about flat earth. And they gaslight a lot. But what I like is that in Brazil, that's not the case. They bring real flat earthers and they talk, and the flat earther gives his the real side of the story, not the fake side of the story. And I'm very disappointed because I've been looking for flat earth interviews. And when I see it, most of the time, I just people gaslighting. They bring people who don't understand about flat earth at all. Just like that lady, the two lady, I forgot, Victoria knows about what I'm talking about. There's a lady there that she brought another lady to talk about flat earth. And they gaslight the mother the whole time. And we don't have that. In fact, unfortunately, I don't see that in the US. But there are still podcasts in Brazil who are interested in listening from the source. You know, they don't bring fake people or Globers to explain flat Earth. They bring real flat earthers. And there are many shows like that. As a matter of fact, I want to show another one. This one wasn't in Brazil. I I contacted a guy. I liked the show a lot because it was a physicist. They brought a physicist flat earther. Okay, the host brought a physicist flat earther. And I have the video ready. I'm going to upload. So I again used the dubbing. I dubbed the show, recorded the screen, and then added the audio. And I'm going to show you here because I'll be making this video available in my main channel this week. It's this one right here. Okay. But in India, the truth about flat Earth right here. Okay. So it's already on my Flat Earth Sermons channel because I believe the physicist is this guy. He's a Christian. He mentions about Christianity. So the host asks him some hard questions. But the flat earther, he is really good. He's a physicist, and he didn't even show the flat earth model. He only discusses the problems with the globe. He said, you got to invite me a second time to actually talk about flat earth because the whole show, which is not long, is like 36 minutes, they pointed out the flaws in the heliocentric model. So again, the original language being Hindi, I translated to English. It's a much better translation than the one that they did with the Portuguese. And I think it's worth watching this one, this debate, not a debate, this interview. Okay, so it's already there on my Flat Earth Sermons channel, and I'll be making it available in my main channel. I have uploaded a whole bunch of videos this week. This one, Understanding Genesis, it's an excellent Bible study supporting flat Earth, uploaded last night and 11 hours ago. This other one, the Bible's universe, looks different than ours. Biblical cosmology, excellent. I uploaded last night, 12 hours ago. This one on it, truth on geocentricity. So I've been uploading, guys, non-stop. I find those videos. If I have to translate them, I will translate. And I gotta bring as much as possible because YouTube has been heavily censored anyway. But at least we have people talking about flat Earth, presenting biblical arguments, and or like this physicist here who brings real arguments to the table, right? So non-stop, you guys know my channel has been a flat Earth channel 10 years, and I don't go deviate to the right or to the left. I'm focused. I keep moving on. Flat Earth is God's revelation, and we are here created with a purpose, and we are not on a spinning, floating water ball in space. We are here. We are in a contained environment. All right, so check here. This week I'll be uploading more. It's already uploaded. It's there. I just have to make it public. But if you want to enjoy, this is 46 minutes long. Earth, the complete audit, airplanes, water, and the horizon that never drops. I think it's one of the greatest video ever produced on the matter. Now, if you speak Spanish, the link for the original is there. It's way better because you're listening in the real language. So, but unfortunately, the dubbing does not make a very good job, but it's still you can understand, clearly the message that's being transmitted. All right, let's move on. Let's play our first song for today, and then I go over the comments. All right, I want to play this song And this is I told you about the Brazilian guy who he clips those preachers, and he creates heavy metal songs, on their preaching. So this boy that you're gonna see, he's 14 years old. He's like a preacher, and it's unbearable. I don't even understand. I speak his language, Portuguese, and I don't even understand what he says. He screams a lot, and sometimes you're gonna see him, the guy speaking language, and he's translating the language. But pay attention to this incredible mockery of what Christianity is. All right, let's listen to the song. We should be right back.
Eu rasgo o câncer, eu filtro o teu sangue e eu curo a leucemia. Porque o exame, eu tô entendendo, o exame ia dar em definitivo. Você tá entendendo, moça de azul? Você tá entendendo? Pra aquela sala nova e dentro do quarto ela ia voltar, mas tem um anjo baixando na tua frente dizendo: eu tô quebrando a marca agora. Eu tô toda arrepiada aqui, meu Deus do céu. E Deus tá dizendo assim: corre e abraça ela, porque eu tô vendo em cima dela. Cura, quando você abraçar, tem cura pra você ver. E pode levar tua mão. O câncer não vai voltar, a leucemia não vai voltar. Meu Deus, a
All right, guys, this is really sickening. I'm sorry I had to put you guys through this. It's sickening, completely sickening. But those are the pastors that in Brazil, and not only in Brazil, in the US, push two things: the globe and dispensationalism. These pastors, they push to these two things. They depend. That's how they keep their group, their group, like their church members, because they preach this dispensationalism, fear gospel, and they push the globe. Remember, if you guys remember, a couple of weeks ago, this other female pastor saying that she had the spirit, like how they say, like, when you is lifted to space and she saw all the planets, the ball Earth, the ball planets, and everything. These are the people preaching these two things, the globe model pushing and the dispensationalism lie. And this boy is 14 years old, and it's a completely uh, mockery of what Christianity is, completely mockery. And so many of them, like I'm gonna play like two videos. You guys gonna be actually I'm gonna be start playing a lot of videos like that. No, no, not the songs, just like in the news. Some churches in Brazil have prohibited their members to talk about flat Earth. That's why I'm saying, like when Pastor Dinodo was telling that he was going to expel anybody from his church who talks about the little season. He's behaving like these other guys, like those pastors who are saying to their members, if they research flat earth, they will be expelled from the church. Yes, we do have that. And, we had in Brazil, and I don't know in the US, but I think that Charles Langley, he had a sermon where he said something like that. If anybody in his church was preaching flat earth or talking about flat earth, he could be shown the doors. So that's what we have. We have a lot of indoctrination, blindness, and pride, and that's why one of the Brazilian preachers said that 90% of pastors, Protestant pastors in Brazil, are Freemasons, and I believe that's the case. That's the case. You have one side, the Jesuits, pushing, and then you think that going to the other side, you're going to be more biblical, more Bible founded on the Bible. You have those Freemasons disguised as pastors running entire denominations and seminars and stuff like that. You know, so I got some comments here that I want to highlight. Uh, Daniel, Manju, hi Daniel Reza, remember when you started your YouTube channel? Yeah, 10 years ago. Flat Earth all the way, 10 years, not deviating to the right, not deviating to the left, centered, going forward. Flat Earth, that's what it is. Yes, thanks, Victoria. That name is Melissa. Yeah, the lady who brought a glober to explain Flat Earth. That's what it is. I mean, it's so I came across because I've been searching videos, Flat Earth videos so much, and to especially sermons on Bible studies, I did come across several, perhaps like 8 or 9 or 10 of pastors downplaying the Bible, preaching the globe, and say, no, the earth is not flat. I mean, not new, but it's been like 2012, 2020, 21, 22. We do have these people out there who don't believe the Bible, but are running churches. But the money part is literal, when it's about, yeah, you donate to the church, that's literal. But when talking about flat earth, no, that's metaphorical. Okay, I mean, very convenient from these pastors. All right, let me show you a couple more slides here that I have prepared for today. This one right here. So I talked last week about Manifest Destiny, the 1840s. So basically, they created those seminars and started to forming people into missionaries, you know, and they all had the same doctrine, you know, like the left behind kind of dispensationalism. You know, it started in the 1800s, as we saw last week. 1700s, they still had Bibles showing that the thousand years reign was in the past. 1800s, everything started to change. They created these dispensationalist academies, and I should have included the globe here because it goes hand in hand. And what did they do? They start sending them to Asia, Africa, especially Africa and South America, Latin America in general. Okay, resulting to these boys, like this boy who keeps, you know, asking money but rejects what the Bible says as far as the Bible, the shape of the earth. And that's what the project manifest is all about, forming missionaries to and I'm all for preaching the gospel, but there is an agenda. Those missionaries sent to Brazil, they were all Freemasons, and they keep the same Freemasonic idea of a globe earth. You know, so I mean, they are really deceiving the people. They're not preaching the full gospel. If you preach the full gospel, you should include that Genesis is literal. 6 days, the seventh, creating a fourth day. What is above the firmament? But when you say this is an allegory, but at the same time is asking for money, say, no, that part in the Bible is literal. You got to bring the goods to the house of God, whatever. I don't know. So, so let me play these two clips here. You're going to be scandalized again. You know, this is what's going on with these churches. And this is the first one. I think it's this one here. Let me put on my glasses. Yeah, this one.
Good evening. We open this edition with the story of a pastor from the Assembly of God arrested today for sharing files containing images of child abuse.
This pastor was identified as Agnaldo Fet, a 58-year-old pastor and one of the pastors of the Assembly of God, a large church with a presence throughout the country.
This goes on for like 10 minutes. I'm not going to play the whole thing, but this is, I told you guys last weekend on the Assembly of God giving full support to that guy who has a church like a temple and had a Albert Pike picture on his living room hanging on a wall. So that's what we are dealing with. We are dealing with those fake Christians pushing the globe model, you know, and fake pastors pushing dispensationalism. I mean, that's what you want more here.
The civil police, through the GCO Draco, launched Operation Pharisees today.
The operation is investigating crimes of criminal organization and money laundering. 27 judicial orders were carried out, including arrest warrants, 4 search and seizure warrants, as well as the lifting of telephone, telematic, and financial secrecy. The criminals are members of an evangelical church and would enter prisons under the guise of being missionaries to bring the word to the inmates. But instead of that, they had an intimate relationship with leaders of the criminal faction operating in the state of Mato Grosso and would carry messages as well as launder money for those members of the criminal faction. The targets of today's operation, and one arrested target, had an intimate, affectionate relationship with a criminal organization leader, and her parents, who were also targets, are evangelical church pastors and acted the same way she did, carrying messages and working on behalf of the criminal organization outside the prisons. Investigations continue in the inquiry, and the next investigative report will be sent to the judiciary so that criminal action can be taken against these members of the criminal organization operating in our state.
That's just one example. There are many. I have several clips that I'll be playing next weekend, and we're going to be playing more. Those churches, they prohibit you talking about flat Earth. They push dispensationalists, but a lot of them are just criminal organizations. It's just money laundering stuff, and so many of them. And I'm talking about big church like Assembly of God, you know, using their denomination just to things like that. So it's incredible, guys. It's incredible because we Christians, we pay the price by what these people who don't believe in the Bible. These guys don't believe that. That's why they are not supporting the flat earth model, because they don't believe what it says in the Bible. And that's why they are pushing this dispensationalism stuff, because they don't believe what Jesus said. When Jesus said, oh, even those who trespassed him on the cross would see him coming back. He told Caiaphas, you shall see the Son of Man come in the clouds with his angels. He said to the disciples, this temple will be destroyed. This temple right here, you are right in front of the temple. This will be destroyed. Run to the mountains, this Jerusalem will be surrounded. And it happened already in 70 AD. So these people don't believe in the Bible, and they are leading church. So that's why, they give a false gospel, false eschatology, false model of the earth, spinning ball in space. It's all connected, guys. It's all connected. So I know I have a lot of flat earthers watching that are not Christians and don't necessarily follow the Bible. So I'm just sharing this because I have brothers and sisters in Christ who are still blind out there serving those churches. And you got to speak boldly, guys. You do have to speak boldly. If they have to expel you from their church, let them do it, because they expelled people from the synagogues because they were following Jesus. They expelled a blind man who was healed, and don't be afraid of being expelled from your church, if you're talking about flat earth. Don't be scared of it. You got to preach what the Bible says, Go ahead and watch those. If you're not if you don't follow my Flat Earth Sermons channel, subscribe. I'm uploading videos there every week, 2, 3, 4, 5. I find Bible studies and I upload there, and many, many Bible studies about the flat Earth, several of them. Right? And one more video I want to play about actually two more, okay? I think this guy watched my video last weekend because on Monday I found this on TikTok. Let's take a listen here.
The late 1800s saw some great inventions. You had the automobile being invented in 1885. I mean, Coca-Cola was invented in 1886. So it's like pretty cool stuff going on. But guess what else was invented in the 1800s? Okay. You've got the falsehoods of Mormonism, Seventh-day Adventism, Jehovah's Witnesses, and the pre-tribulational rapture. All found their origins in the 1800s because the devil in the very last end times is coming against the truth of the gospel.
That's right. So all the Bibles who had the Millennium Kingdom past, they made new Bibles and new translations, and they preaching this futurism stuff. One more video that I want to play, then we will talk. We'll go over the comments. I as I said, I don't know Jay Dyer. I only see clips of him on TikTok here and there, and some people say no, he is control opposition. I just want to play one video that he talks about the 1,000 years or the Dark Ages, which the American system, or not only the American school system, but how all over the world, they skip the 1,000 years and they go back to the philosophers. So why are they doing this? So let's take a listen to this one.
A lot of people don't know that most of the cultural achievements that we think of as Middle Ages, a lot of that is from Byzantium. It's not from Roman Catholicism. It's from Byzantium, things like hospitals and this kind of stuff, universities. But actually, the history of Byzantium is suppressed in the West. And so that older Orthodox culture that you're talking about that Romania still possesses, we call that the first Europe. So that's like the Europe of the first 1,000 years of Christianity. You are well aware of the 1054 split. But, I mean, if you look at actual history and what's suppressed in the West, because if you take like philosophy courses or history courses in modern universities in the U.S., they'll go from Plato, and then they'll skip to Descartes. Literally, so nothing happened between Plato and maybe Augustine. Maybe you'll read a little selection of the Confessions, and then you'll skip over to Descartes. It's just ludicrous, and it's that way on purpose. They don't want you to know about the fact that there's all of these great historical instantiations of Orthodoxy stamped into culture, especially in Byzantium, Romania, places that you're talking about.
First 1,000 years of Christianity, I think to most modern Christians, certainly American Christians, that's like a black hole. What does that even mean, the first 1,000 years of Christianity?
It's an area that we're not taught. I know that when I went to college, the only thing that we talked about from that whole period was like Augustine's Confessions and maybe one other book or two.
Then we have something called the Dark Ages, and nothing happens.
Nothing about Byzantium.
Didn't even exist. And then like these people called the Medicis make a ton of money in Italy and start funding beautiful art, and that's the beginning of civilization.
So I remember at college I was like pressing the department, like, why don't we study some medieval stuff, some Byzantine stuff? And they were like, why should we? We don't care about that Christian stuff. So I think there's probably a little bit of an intentional desire to suppress that for, American education. I think it's pretty much brainwashing.
Whether you like him or not, I don't have any opinion, but I like the fact that he himself has inquired, even the academy when he was a student, and they don't like it to talk about. They hide 1,000 years of history. They call it Dark Ages. Some other, as I have said to you, they call him the years of lost democracy, which comes from demon, the demonocracy. And just for you to see that, yes, there is this 1,000 years that is purposely being hidden, and modern church today ignore totally. And that's a big red flag for me. Let me go over some comments here, guys. I hope you have enjoyed so far. Gotta use here. So Tammy, thanks. You in the house. I think Yuko's in the house. Yuko, thanks for being here, Yuko. I appreciate you. My sister in Christ from Kyoto. Let's see here what's going on. I think we're okay. So I want to talk about some earthquakes. You just had one in California. Actually, not California, in Central America, right? 7.4. That was here, 17th, it's Friday to Saturday. And we had one in Japan on Friday night. Not here. Some people got the warnings around Tokyo. Perhaps Yuko got one because she's closer to Tokyo than I am. So what I want to talk about is, like, as I said, that those earthquakes are caused by the conjunctions of the wandering stars, so-called planets. And that guy who runs the website, the website is called, this website here, where is it? Go over here. I don't know if I saved. Yeah, this one. Unfortunately, they use this heliocentric model to display their data, but he issued some warnings, okay, based on his observations of the planets. So I want to play. It's kind of long, so I have like a short version here for you guys. let's see what's going on, between the end of July and the first week of August. So that's what we are expecting to, witness.
Welcome to a new planetary and seismic update. We look at the SGI graph from the previous time frame. We had the convergence of planetary and lunar geometry on the 9th 10th with two planetary peaks. Purple is Venus, red is Mercury. We had a lunar peak on the 11th and then again a second convergence on the 13th 14th, where I estimated would likely be the most critical time, also because of the involvement of the new moon here and considerable convergence of lunar geometry. So let's have a look at the seismic activity that we had in this time frame. We had a 6.4, one of the strongest earthquakes in this time frame, right at the peak, the lunar peak on the 11th. And then with the second convergence, that's where the seismic increase kicked off. A burst of strong earthquakes, 5.5 and larger, including 3 magnitude 6 earthquakes within just over 24 hours. And about 9 magnitude 5.5 earthquakes in just 4 days, well above average. Fortunately, no larger seismic activity, no high 6 or magnitude 7. Let's have a look at the next time frame up until the 27th of July. It doesn't look as spectacular, but again we have a near convergence tight sequence of two planetary conjunctions involving Mercury and Venus. The first one is here on the 21st, Mercury, Mars, Uranus, and the second is Venus, Sun, Uranus on the 22nd. It is preceded by 2 lunar peaks. This is because the moon aligns with Neptune and also with Saturn. This is on the 19th and on the 20th, preceding the convergence of planetary conjunctions here on the 21st and the 22nd. And then we have additional lunar peaks on the 24th, 25th, arguably more critical. Now, the key here is that this planetary geometry converging on the 21st, 22nd is not immediately followed by lunar geometry or converging with lunar geometry. That happens on the 24th and the 25th. So with the first lunar peaks, we could see a seismic increase, but probably not as much as with the second lunar peaks, because they are a bit away from the planetary peaks on the 21st, 22nd. So I estimate that a seismic increase may start, or let's say critical seismic increase may start here on the 23rd, later on the 23rd, approaching the lunar conjunctions here in the geometry, the planetary geometry here on the 21st and on the 22nd. So my estimate is that the largest seismic activity is probably going to occur around the time of the second lunar peaks. So they could be later on the 23rd, but especially on the 24th to the 26th, I think that is the most critical time. And if it arrives late, a larger event may happen here on the 27th. And this is because the planetary conjunctions converge here on the 21st, 22nd, and then we always look at the next lunar peaks, and that's on the 24th, 25th. So in my estimate, this is the more critical time, but don't underestimate the lunar peaks on the 19th and 20th. There could be an obvious seismic response well into the higher 5 magnitude range, maybe even magnitude 6. Okay, let's have a quick look at the first week of August. I normally don't do that, but this is an exception because we're going to have a huge peak here with the full moon on the 29th of July. And this because of an extremely rare tight convergence, because the moon is not just in opposition with the sun, that's the full moon, but also with Jupiter behind the sun. And this is all happening within 2 hours from 12:30, I think, UTC to 14:30 UTC. Very, very tight. There is additional planetary geometry converging there as well. And on top of that, we have a quadruple conjunction of the planets from the 1st, 2nd to the 5th, including 2 additional planetary conjunctions. And we have lunar geometry in between there as well. This is a highly critical time, especially roughly from the 3rd to the 6th, 7th of August. If you have holiday plans, be on extra alert in that time frame, particularly from the 3rd to the 7th. But we have the critical full moon here, and that can also trigger increased seismic activity. I will do a much more detailed analysis of this geometry. This is the first week of August when we get there. For now, we look at the coming time frame. Again, 23rd to be on the safe side, from the 23rd to the 26th is the second half of this time frame. Is probably going to be the most critical time. Check out the latest updates on the website and also on our social media. Stay safe, everyone, and until next time.
Really wish they could display this data on the flat Earth model, because in the heliocentric model, those Jupiter being behind the sun, like zillions light years away, it would not impact one region here on Earth, like Central America or the West Coast. Only with a flat Earth model, with the stars and the sun and the moon being so close together and having a magnetic flat Earth, those things can really cause any seismic activity, right? So I normally, the stars, the luminaries are out there for signs, for times, years, and signs. So this guy, he can know some of the signs by observing the activity of the luminaries, and he's been right. The Venezuela one, he not only was correct, but he warned it 27 minutes before. He had a special, post on his social media, about that particular earthquake, which I, in 30 years, when I studied, I got my master's degree in earth science, learned that we are not able to predict earthquakes. But on the other side, we on the opposite side of what heliocentric model science teaches. We are able to predict, because the stars, the moon, and the sun, they're up there for time, seasons, and signs. Okay, that's why the Magi follow the star when Christ was born. And the hagiography documents so many instances. It says that when we see signs like that, the shifts will occur. It's all the special alignments of the so-called planets. Let me play a song, guys, and then we should be right back. I played that terrible heavy metal song. Now, the heavy metal was okay, but that boy preacher there was terrible. But I just wanted you guys to see what's going on with these churches. Right? We should be right back.
Yeah. It's dedicated to the truth seekers. The ones living below the firmament knowing the deal. It's all good, baby, baby. Check. Yeah. It was all a dream, I used to read NASA tales. Apollo and Artemis, Hollywood veils. Posters on my wall every Saturday night. Watching them stage the moon landing in plain sight. I let my tape rock till my tape popped. Smoking herb in the basement, watching CGI flop. Way back when I had the red and black lumberjack, singing through the fraud like a laundry rack. Biggie!
Biggie, 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 can't you see? Just Artemis mission trickery. The casting is stole from a hollow throne. All the masses just follow the tone.
Yeah, NASA's a cartel, Artemis is the hype. Selling CGI dreams at $1 trillion price. No boots on the soil, just fighters in the room. Another Hollywood reboot, a high budget tune.
They're guarding the dome while they pickpocket the core. NASA's just a theater and we're kicking down the door.
Nixon had a landline straight to the moon, but Artemis buffering, man, it's all a cartoon. The cool mocking openly, farcical and free. Sex, magic, and parsons, seeking out the glee. Luciferian doctrine spells casting a hex. Mach 39 entry, check the numbers next. 6 million on the pad, witch doctor math. I see through the blimps in the inflatable path.
Check the wires, wake up.
Check the flicker,
wake up.
The screen is a cage and the tension is thicker. The tether to the rafters, puppets on a string. Zero G theater of a Hollywood wing.
The horizon is flat, the water is level. It's a vault, it's a dome, and we're fighting that devil. Wake up, wake up. Wake up!
NASA's a cartel, Artemis is the heist. Selling CGI dreams at $1 trillion price. No boots on the soil, just fires in the room. Another Hollywood reboot, a high budget tune.
They're guarding the dome while they pickpocket the car. NASA's just a theater and we're kicking down the door.
Yeah, check the trajectory, what's with the imagery? Every rocket launch looking like male anatomy. Giant wieners in the sky, reaching for the blue. Austin Powers told us back in '97 it's true. Blue, orange, and virgin, they all look the same. Just a bunch of rich boys play a tip with the frame. Curvy flight paths talking like a, oh, you know. They ain't going straight up, they just putting on a show. NASA's a cartel, Artemis is the heist. Selling CGI dream, got $1 trillion price. New boots on the soil, just wires in the room. Another Hollywood reboot, a high budget tune.
They're guarding the dome while they pickpocket the core. NASA's just a theater and we're kicking down the door.
Yeah, NASA MAFIA. We see you, liars and deceivers. Central casting actors and shills. Stan Kubrick on the track, directing the hits. Here go, we out.
All right, guys. I did place a link for this video I just played, the earthquakes, predictions or estimates, or if that's how we can say. So you can take screenshots, better screenshots, or listen. I will be updating you guys. I'm going to be posting more stuff. And we are not supposed to worship the stars, the luminaries, but we are supposed to know how to read them, how to interpret them, and that's being prevented. They keep this knowledge to themselves, keep us totally in the dark. I want to shout out to some very good friends, Rick Hinckley, who has been a brother in Christ, and he supported me with the website. He built a website. So if you wanna, he has a Christ the King shirts there if you wanna get one. And I appreciate Rick for you what you have done. Special thanks to Dave from Oregon, very nice brother in Christ, and he sent me a coin this week, and I got it last week actually. I will show you guys that next weekend. A beautiful silver coin. I'll be showing you this next week for you guys. And I want to thank all of you, my dear friends who are here today. And Earth is flat, and we gotta keep on beating this drum until we are heard. The YouTube is the most demonic. I mean, we use it just like we cannot use AI, but it's demonic. Well, YouTube is a demonic tool as well. It's been spreading all the globe lies. I added so many hashtags: flat Earth, hashtag biblical word, hashtag Bible word, hashtag firmament. And when you click those hashtags, all of them take you to like Fight the Flat Earth or Dave McKeegan. It's how demonic this place is. They don't want people to find out about the truth. So I don't know what to do. I do everything I can. I have like 5 channels, and I try to upload videos every day. Every day I upload. Even if I upload a video 10 years ago, I upload it again just to see if it appears on the radar. But it don't. I mean, but we gotta use the tools that we have, right? So feel free to download any of my videos and upload to your platform, right? So I appreciate all the comments. Tammy, yeah, we're supposed to study the star and the skies, yes. And of course, the Antikythera mechanism, which is a flat Earth model that also displayed all the luminaries in the sky, all that stuff. So let me make sure I have covered. I haven't covered everything, but I will leave some stuff for next weekend. Okay? We will do the rest next weekend. So I hope you guys have enjoyed the show today. I wish you guys all the best. You are my brothers and sisters in Christ. Each and every one of you. Thanks for being here. Some of you have been around for 10 years. Thank you so much. Some are new. And my message, you can check my channel. It's been Flat Earth from the very beginning. And today is what? The 19th, 20. Here is already 20th of July, 2026. Flat Earth moves on. It's not an idol. We are not preaching this. We don't worship Flat Earth. It's where we live, where God has placed us. He created this place. We are in an enclosed system. Nobody can get out of here. There's a firmament. Earth is flat. Hell is right below our feet. That's where many people will be going. You know, they want you. They don't want. You saw the what's his name again? The Orthodox guys say, you know, the universe. We don't want. We don't care about that Christian stuff. So they reject it. They reject all the, you know, the Bible teachings and stuff. Thank you so much, guys. May the Lord bless and keep each and one of you. If you want to support the channel, want to become a Patreon today, all the links are in each and every video I upload. There's links there to the store and everything. Thanks so much. I love you all, guys. Love you from the bottom of my heart. See you next weekend if the Lord so allow us. Take care, guys.
Wonderful, magical, celestial light, fantastical, mystical, wonderful sight. Belgian Swiss physicist Auguste Piccard, 1931, first to reach for the stars, was the first to explore the air view stratospherius, a scientist curious to see what was there. An aluminium black ball gondola, helium balloon, hydrogen with photos and instruments, sail towards the moon, rose in just half an hour, 52,000 feet, 10 miles of dense air pressure, up a dead drop in heat and cold, but disproving gravity. Wonderful, mystical, beautiful sight, flat line separation of black from blue light, a world run by false make-believers, hiding in shadows, stealing our light. Mystical, fluorescent light, wonderful, magical, awesome, yes, stealing our light. Wonderful, let there be light, supernatural, eternal, supernatural. Up we go, higher than rainbows, higher than mountains, above cumulonimbus, higher than 360 around us, but right round behind us, any height that you dare. The sun and the moon both revolve above around us, to forever show time pass intelligently there. You'll never beat us, you'll never defeat us, no more you deceive us, deep through you like air. Kipper and Picard were the first ever known to reach up there. Divine luminescent light, mystical, wonderful, celestial light. So what was their eternal testimony? What did they report back to humanity? Said it seemed like a flat disk far as eyes can see, with an upturned edge fading into infinity. A mystical, ethereal, celestial sight, a divine creation, a clockwork of light, designed hid by deceivers and false make-believers, still cowering in shadows, still fearing our light. Here we go, higher than Everest, higher than airplanes, above zero cumulus, higher than air, a level horizon, 360 around us, no motion beneath us, no spinning stars on the firmament, turning all around us to forever show time past geometrically there. You'll never beat us, you'll never defeat us, forever beneath us, reaching through you like air. Mystic, so illuminate light, fantastical, magical, bright. We see through you like air. Magical, angels of light, beautiful, wonderful, celestial light. The first to see truth when they reach for the stars, explorers and physicists, Kipper and Picard. we see through you like air.